think about you.
Getting exhausted from outrage.
What?
One more.
On April the 18th, I was on TMZ Live, and I was discussing Haley Joel Osment. And in this particular segment, Haley Joel Osment said some anti-Semitic slurs to a cop after he was arrested for allegedly being drunk and high off that booger sugar. And I was explaining on TMZ that I feel like even though he explained and everything, that technically he should go and speak to the Jewish community. He should go and talk to rabbis and go and visit the Holocaust Museum and all of that to talk to the Jewish community. And this was said after I said my statement. Let me just play it for you.
We'll get to that in a moment. But here is the moment that gets kind of Mel Gibson-y because he used some language. Well, he used a Jewish slur while he was in custody in the back of the car. Oddly, he also used another
word that's inconsistent with
totally
the first
inconsistent.
slur.
But here's what happened as they were taking him into custody. You're going to see the officers also finding the drugs that they believe may be cocaine. They're still testing the substance, but that's what it looks like.
Okay, police department, you're being detained. There we go. What's your name, brother? What's your name?
So he went to the bar, ordered one drink, and was so intoxicated.
Everyone be careful, there's something in there.
That he couldn't, he spilled his
Hold
drink.
on, leave it close.
And then he got cut off.
Hold it in your glove. There you go. Help it.
I've been kidnapped by a Nazi. I was decent to you, and you are.
Well, there's the slur.
Yeah, you're a bleeping K-word is what we would. Yeah.
So, look, I want to just say this out of the gate here. I mean, this is the video that the police released. He's had a really rough time. I'm not making excuses or anything like that for using the word, but he has had a really rough time. His house burned down in Altadena. He's just, having enormous problems with insurance companies. And he's saying he's really kind of at a low point.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got a statement from Haley where he essentially said just that he was absolutely horrified by his behavior in this video. He actually would have spoken out sooner, but he was blacked out, so he didn't even remember saying those terrible things and essentially apologizing. I mean, this was, obviously this is a snippet and it's not excusing what he said by any means, of about an hour and a half of body cam where for the most part, you could obviously tell he was extremely intoxicated, but he was pretty chill with the cops. He actually got into that with the cops, saying that, he's going through a lot right now. He's essentially homeless. And regardless, all around, pretty sad situation.
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, he did say that he said, look, I'm not asking for forgiveness, but I promise I will atone for this mistake. And he apologized to Jewish people and for the offensive language. And I know he is in a bad place. I just think some people, when they hear the story, they see that you're in a bad place, which we all living here in LA know there are thousands of people who are going through this. The part that doesn't add up is he is still on a ski trip, right?
Right.
So that's the part that doesn't add up. It's like you're so down and out, but you still went skiing.
I mean, I feel really bad for everybody, him included, that just not only lost everything, but I'm telling you, I have heard so many stories dealing with these insurance companies, trying to get anything is you will go insane. You will literally go insane trying to deal with these insurance companies. So,
well, yeah, to that point, Harvey, he actually, apparently I was told that he had a replacement house that he was gonna move into, and essentially somehow it got blocked because of an insurance claim. So they were preventing him from even getting a new home.
People are going crazy in this city.
I know you guys want to talk, and I get it. That is an issue. I just want to get back to what was said and what was done there, because that is, and I'm not saying that we have to cancel Haley Joel Osment because of this. I'm just thinking about the difference now that police wear body cam, and think about when Mel Gibson's arrest happened. Police were not wearing body cams. That wasn't it's just it's
But
such
we confirm that.
No, of course, and I'm saying how much quicker the story comes out because we do have police wearing
Look,
these
do you think it
cameras
was
now.
any different though, Charles? I'm not obviously awful thing to say, but like he said the
It's
Nazi
different.
thing too, and it was basically like the guy was blacked out, making no sense.
Clearly blacked out, because it doesn't make any sense
And
whatsoever.
I know the whole thing too about that when you're drunk and you say things, it means that's what you really believe. And I know the whole thing. I'm Jewish and I get it. And look, it was really bad. He shouldn't have done it and everything else. All I'm saying is there is an overlay here of this just rotten
This
world
crisis that people
where
are
you just don't know how to escape from it if you're one of these fire victims. It's just.
Hey, this is Dre Mack from Kansas City. I'm talking about Haley Joel Osment. Very disappointed when I watched the actual body cam footage. I know he came out and apologized and everything, but it could have had serious ramifications on his career. Hopefully he gets help. Hopefully, he goes out and talks more to the Jewish community on how that type of language and that type of just things that you're doing is just not acceptable out here.
I'm getting exhausted from Outrage. One more.
Okay, so I felt a certain way after that. And this is the reason why I felt a certain way after that particular segment. One of the reasons why I felt a certain way, because when it comes to black people, we don't get the opportunity just to apologize and go on about our day. Let me just show you a couple of examples of what happened when black people even tweet something that's deemed anti-Semitic. Look what happens to them.
Surprised that I did hurt people.
Are you surprised that reaction and some of the things that you did hurt people?
Yeah, I think I can ask a better question. It's just, where were you when I was a kid, figuring out that 300 million of my ancestors are buried in America? Where were you guys asking those same questions when I was a kid learning about the traumatic events of my familial history and what I'm proud to come from and why I'm proud to stand here and why when I repeat myself that I'm not going to stand down, it has nothing to do with dismissing any other race or group of people. I'm just proud of my heritage and what we've been through. And the fact that this has pinned me against the Jewish community. And I'm here answering questions of whether or not I'm sorry or not on something I didn't create, and it was something I shared, and I'm telling everybody I'm taking responsibility, then that's where I sit. So, these same questions that you guys ask, me dealing with it as being a melanated, pigmented person all around the world, and dealing with racial biases against my skin color, demeaning me because of my religious beliefs, and I'm still sitting in the seat standing. So I take my full responsibility. Again, I'll repeat it, for posting something on my Instagram or Twitter that may have had some unfortunate falsehoods in it. But I also am a human being that's 30 years old, and I've been growing up in a country that's told me that I wasn't worth anything, and I came from a slave class, and I come from a people that are meant to be treated the way we get treated every day. So I'm not here to compare anyone's atrocities or tragic events that their families have dealt with generations of time. I'm just here to continue to expose things that our world continues to put in darkness. I'm a light. I'm a beacon of light. That's what I'm here to do. You guys ask me questions about basketball, I give you my expert opinion. You guys ask me about other things, I give you my opinion, and it's met with whatever you believe the perception or the deception is. You guys investigate my life every day, and you justify it by serving your own purpose, which I honor. I would like the same respect in return, figuring out just like anyone else. So please keep that same energy when we're talking about anti-other things, because just because I post a documentary doesn't mean I'm anti-Semitic, and doesn't mean that I'm automatically standing with everyone that is believing in that. So it's unfortunate timing that we're in, but I'm glad that I could stand on the truth, because I'm not afraid of these mics, these cameras. I used to be, looking everyone in the eye and telling them the truth, but I'm proud of who I am. Any label that you put on me, I'm able to dismiss because I study. I know the Oxford Dictionary, you look it up, right? It's one of the biggest mistakes I had in being a kid was not knowing European or Western language until I started looking it up and understanding the definitions and why they say, if you want to trick a black person, put it in a book. I was wondering my whole life why they said that. Now I'm 30 years old and I know reading is a superpower because it helps me understand where I'm going and where I come from, like a tree with roots.
Kyrie, the documentary listed among falsehoods. It said the Holocaust didn't happen. Do you believe the Holocaust
those falsehoods
happened?
are unfortunate. And it's not that I don't believe in the Holocaust. I never said that. Never, ever have said it. It's not come out of my mouth. I never tweeted it. Never liked anything like it. So the Holocaust in itself is an event that means something to a large group of people that suffered something that could have been avoided. No one said we had to practice racism. No one said we had to treat each other like garbage. No one said that I had to stand here today and understand that many people that come from generations 60 years ago, 40 years ago, enslaved some of my ancestors still, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and it's still going on. And you guys are asking me, respectfully, to speak on something that was a documentary that I had nothing to do with. I didn't make it. So just please keep that same energy when you guys are addressing me.
Kyrie, for the record, do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs?
Again, I'm gonna repeat. I don't know how the label becomes justified because you guys ask me the same questions over and over again. But this is not gonna turn into a spin around cycle of questions upon questions. I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
I think what people want to hear, though, is just a yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I cannot be anti-Semitic.
So Kyrie Irving met with Adam Silver.
Yes.
And supposedly they had some of the reports say a productive visit. What does that mean?
Well, it means that Kyrie apparently said all the right things.
Like what?
I don't know. Going
if Kyrie Irving would not acknowledge that the Holocaust
it's hard
existed,
to come back from that.
What did he say to Adam Silver?
It's hard to come back. So Adam Silver had laid out 5 or 6 criteria for or benchmarks that Kyrie Irving had to hit in order to be allowed back in the league. And they were things that were going to be hard for Kyrie Irving to swallow, from full acknowledgement of what he said was wrong, full-throated apology, an acknowledgement of the inaccuracies that are put in.
A $500,000 donation.
A $500,000. That's the easy part.
Which, by the way, the ADL wouldn't take.
I'm sure there are plenty of charities that would be happy to take his money. I thought that was weird by the ADL. I thought it was weird not to take his charity, given that he was just pocket it. I don't know.
I didn't find that weird at all.
I guess
they
not.
didn't want it.
I didn't find it weird at all.
I guess not. So he had to meet all these criteria, and given where he came from, where Kyrie Irving came from, and the things he had said, to the point you were making, how do you walk those back effectively? How do you come out and say that in sum or substance, I dispute whether the Holocaust happened, and then apologize and say, I don't dispute whether the Holocaust happened, which seems to be where he needs to
I think Adam Silver, as commissioner of the league, though, can't be seen as sort of
too
malevolent and too harsh. He has to handle this with grace and civility.
Adam Silver came out guns a-blazing.
He did.
After Kyrie Irving after the first failed apology.
He had to show he was angry. But he
has
to productively manage the situation, doesn't he?
You're not taking away the genuineness of Adam Silver's anger, are you?
No, his anger was real because he said, your apology doesn't cut it, and he was very, very sort of
we're
clear and unambiguous.
basing this on reports. I'm not convinced these reports are accurate, that Adam Silver said, yeah, this was pretty good. I just don't hear...
Yeah, what does productive mean?
I don't hear Kyrie Irving saying, I should have answered the reporter's question. The Holocaust did exist. Here are the things that I disagree with in that documentary. I just don't think he said that.
Yeah, look, here's what we know about Kyrie. Last season, he dug in his heels on the vaccine and sat out most of the season. So he's not a guy who
$17 million
wins a ton of money. He's not motivated solely by money. He does like to sort of show a certain stubbornness and a self-righteousness about the things he believes in. So it's not clear he fell on his sword. But if he does, I think Adam Silver has to sort of open himself up to reintroducing Kyrie into the league, I think.
Here's why I have an issue with this. If he really did a mea culpa with Adam Silver, then that should be mirrored in the next news conference that Kyrie Irving has. And if reporters start asking him those questions, and if he really did answer it a certain way with Adam Silver, he has to do the same at the news conference. I don't see it.
Yeah.
What if he does? What if he does?
What if he does?
What if he's absolutely unambiguous? The Holocaust happened, and it was a tragedy. It was an actual part of history.
And look, that's great.
He'll have to,
but I'd like to ask. Yeah. Why wouldn't you say that before?
Yeah, he will have to reconcile that with the things.
Why wouldn't
you
say that?
Can he
before?
claim ignorance? Can he claim I wasn't raised? I don't know these
Well,
things?
here's the thing: Kyrie's a dipshit, but he's not stupid.
Yeah.
He's actually a very, very smart guy who can, I think, is bright enough to to reconcile these thoughts and say, "Here's what I was speaking to,"
or Jason, he believes it.
Well, in which case, good for him. I don't begrudge Kyrie Irving whatever he wants to believe. I really don't.
Well, he'll
but
never get into the league
He can't play
again.
in the NBA anymore, though. The NBA, look. What
I mean,
Donald Sterling said.
You got to like at a point acknowledge that he sent that tweet out. He would never. He never really took it back. And it's an extremely anti-Semitic film.
Yeah.
So.
But don't you think there's a question, is he going to go what I call full Kanye, where he goes on multiple programs and defends the point of view, or is Kyrie at a point where he can still pivot to sort of saying this was all wrong and I was laboring under a misimpression?
He has so much to lose. Kanye lost a lot. I don't think he knew how much he was going to lose going in. Kyrie will never step foot on an NBA court again if he goes full throttle.
That's right.
And
he has enough money for many generations to live and be fine.
I guess so. Unless he doesn't.
He lost his Nike deal already.
He lost all of his deals. He has no sponsorships anymore.
Right, but he made that clear that there are certain things he believes in that are bigger than
In which
money.
case, despite the abhorrence of his views, good for Kyrie. He believes in
so
what
it sounds like you're betting that he will.
Good. For
I mean it in that. I mean it in that.
I know what you're saying.
If you believe what you believe, don't kowtow to.
You respect his convictions on this?
I do. I respect his convictions on it.
Now these are nasty, noxious things.
I'm sorry.
I don't respect it, but
the people who are saying I stand with Kyrie on this, you know what happens. I mean, again, folks, if you're listening to this, watch Ken Burns' The U.S. and the Holocaust. Watch this documentary on PBS. Watch this documentary. There are things you don't know about what happened in America and how anti-Semitism works and how it becomes a precursor to a lot of really bad things beyond just Jews, a lot of really bad things. And you watch this documentary, it's going to open your eyes. I'm telling you, I thought I knew a fair amount. I learned so much from this documentary that was just shocking.
Yeah.
And it's a piece of art, and you should watch.
I'm sure you've heard of all of the things going on with Nick Cannon. But tell us how you're addressing it on your show, and then we'll get to Nick.
I mean, so first of all, anti-Semitism is wrong, full stop, just like racism is wrong, full stop. And we went to Pittsburgh, and if you're going to go to Pittsburgh and talk about white supremacy and talk about hate, there's, of course, black and white racism to talk about. But Pittsburgh was also home of I think it's what it's called, the worst attack on Jewish people in this country's history. Nick seems to feel like he doesn't want to lose his street cred. And so I feel like I see him all the time doing things that's like, you're the host of The Masked Singer, but you want us to also know that you care about your people. But I feel like you can care about your people without leaning into some of those things like the anti-Semitism. I also know that Louis Farrakhan is a very divisive figure, and forget outside of the black community, but within the black community, because for many black people, the Nation of Islam was there when nobody else was there for us. So certainly Louis Farrakhan has said many anti-Semitic things and other things that are not cool, to put it lightly. But also for a lot of people in the black community, Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam were there to get their backs when they couldn't trust the police or local politicians. So it's just super complicated. But again, anti-Semitism is wrong, full stop.
I'm really worried about civil war. I really am. I have never seen this kind of violence where people are trigger happy. I feel like we are on the brink of something. And with this election coming up where, people are screaming fraud from the White House, there is voter suppression, which is clear. I'm just feeling we're on the brink. Philadelphia Eagles superstar DeSean Jackson said something. He says there's no hatred in his heart. And you want to believe that. However, when you post something that starts with Hitler said,
right,
it's hard to say you don't have hatred in your heart. But DeSean is apologizing for what he posted. It is a quote from Minister Farrakhan.
but it is in Minister Farrakhan was quoting Hitler. He said, Hitler said, because the white Jews know that Negroes are the real children of Israel, and to keep America's secret, the Jews will blackmail Americans. This goes on. I don't really want to read more of it. You can.
We should.
You want to read more of it?
They will extort America. Their plan for world domination won't work if the Negroes know who they were. The white citizens of America will be terrified to know that all this time they've been mistreating and discriminating and lynching the children of Israel. So there you go.
So that got the exact amount of backlash you would think it would get. You posted something that is espousing Hitler's beliefs and is clearly anti-Semitic. I don't know how else.
Of course.
Read that. But DeSean is now saying that that was misinterpreted. This is his apology.
I just want to, first off, extend an apology on the behalf of me and what I stand for, because, I'm one that's fair, and I never want to put any race down or any people down. And, my post was definitely not intended for anybody of any race to feel any type of way, especially the Jewish community. When I posted what I posted, I definitely didn't mean it to the extent that you guys took it. And I just want to let you guys know that I'm, very apologetic, and I just want you guys to understand that it never was intended to be, to put any race down or any religion down.
As far as apologies go, it seemed like a genuine and a heartfelt apology, but I'm still having trouble understanding how when, like Charles said, when the first word of what you reposted says Hitler, why you would repost that. Who knows if he read it or not. This is still extremely troubling. Look, the Eagles have come out and said it's offensive, harmful, and absolutely appalling. You have many people who right now are calling on the NFL to suspend DeSean Jackson for these anti-Semitic comments. And I just don't know how you reconcile it. DeSean Jackson over the years, and I know this because we've covered it, he's done a lot of good in the community. So I think this is a guy who has a good heart. I just cannot understand how he would ever repost something that's so extremely offensive.
Here's the best possible spin. And DeSean didn't say this, although I think he kind of hinted at that. He said something about, I repost a lot of things. And he probably saw that somebody had posted something by Minister Farrakhan and decided he wanted to put up a quote from Minister Farrakhan and didn't actually look at which is, like I said, when it starts with Hitler said,
well, and also
you don't see that.
You see the word Jews in there. You know how Farrakhan stands on that.
Right.
So it's not real hard to connect the dots on something like this, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is tantamount to President Trump saying he didn't know that video he reposted.
Where the guy screamed white power 3 seconds in.
Right.
Look, I've already seen a lot of people bring up Drew Brees and saying that Drew Brees had to apologize multiple times, 3-4 times, for saying he wanted people to stand for the flag. And I know there are a lot of people who are looking at this, and they're going to see how the Philadelphia Eagles and how the NFL reacts to this. And if there is a punishment that DeSean Jackson has to face, because these are terrible. Look, I don't expect everyone to know the complete history of the world. I certainly don't. But when it comes to Hitler, everybody understands that Hitler may very well be the worst human being that has ever been born. So that much we all know. No matter where you stand, no matter how deep your history knowledge goes. So you have to know. You cannot be quoting Hitler. Nothing that paints Hitler in a positive light can ever appear on your social media page, especially when you're a famous athlete and somebody that people look up to.
Darby from Pleasanton. I think the post that DeSean Jackson had posted is being taken as anti-Semitic because it has to do with Hitlers and Jews. Where if you read the post, it's saying that if African Americans knew that they were the real children of Israel, that the whites' plan to take over world domination wouldn't work because the African American community would know that the whites aren't superior to them. So do I think it was anti-Semitic? No. Do I think he read the quote wrong? Absolutely.
So wait a minute. So when he
Can we go back
talks
to the
about
quote? Because
Jews, yeah, let's go back to that quote.
I thought the quote was saying that what he was saying was that the Jews will be.
He's talking about
they
the Jews will extort America. Their plan for world domination won't work if the Negroes know who they were, meaning they're out for world domination.
Yeah, I think it's the Jews he's saying are out for world domination.
I mean, if that's not anti-Semitic, explain to me, please.
See, the way that I took the quote is that he might have misread it, thinking that it's saying that the whites are going to take over world domination, because that's how I read it too. I think it's coming off as anti-Semitic because it's a Hitler and Jewish quote.
Okay.
That's possible. It's definitely possible.
The only problem with it is it starts with Hitler and it's Farrakhan, and you see Jews in there. And anyway,
yeah, it's a slippery slope from there.
Now, out of every example that you see, you know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of the outrage too. I'm tired of the outrage just because it seems like someone of another race, or this white, let's just put it out there, this white can say something anti-Semitic and damn near doesn't have to do the damage control that black people, especially celebrities, whether they're celebrities or big time celebrities like Kyrie Irving, or they've been out of the league like DeSean Jackson. But there's always this rhetoric. Now, I'm not excusing anybody who's saying anything that's a racial slur to anybody. That I'm not discrediting that. I'm not saying that they shouldn't apologize. I'm not saying any of that, because in hindsight, they should, because I don't want nobody calling me a racial slur. You know, I don't want nobody calling me anything out my name or whatever like that. But it seems like the punishment when you're black is 10 times as worse than when you're white. And honestly, Harvey, this made me feel like I shouldn't be on this show, because I felt like that the dismissal, and this is my feelings, because I said I felt a certain way at the beginning of this, and at the end of that segment, after I got off, they told me, thank you, we'll check back with you again in a month, all of that. I felt like, why should I even be on this show when there is so many of my people that say anything that is deemed anti-Semitic in the way they get treated, in the way they get drugged in the media. Nobody says, I'm tired of the outrage, except for us. But you know what doesn't happen? The example they are shown. Like, you're putting this, like, people are putting this in our place. Why can't we have that same energy for Haley Joel Osment? And that's the only thing that I was trying to do. If it's good for us, it should be good for him too. And I feel you. I'm tired of the outrage myself. Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.